Sunday. And there were a couple of things that jumped out at me off of it. Most alarming to me was both Duke and Louisville in the exact same Midwest region, with Louisville getting the number 1 seed and Duke getting a number 2, which I kind of felt was a bit reversed. I thought it was going to be the other way around. Often rumored that nationally number 1 ranked Gonzaga, and it was often rumored that they would not get a number 1 seed. They actually did out of the West region. And a bit surprising to me was Kansas getting a number 1 seed in the South region. Now, not surprising, Indiana got the 4th number 1 seed in the East. All right? And so with all those different things happening, and then, of course, then we're always expecting the Cinderella teams or two to come in and kind of upset things and throw the upsets into the mix and perhaps even make some deep runs. All of these kinds of things were on my mind, and I posed some of these questions to our Fan Junkies Radio NCAA analyst and CEO of 5-Star Basketball Camp, Leigh Klein, on yesterday's Fan Junkies Radio program. If you're wondering how well you might have done with your bracket selections, well, let me bring you just a portion of the conversation that I had with Leigh and some of the suggestions that he made. Listen in on this, then you can go and compare your bracket, and perhaps maybe you might sit there and go, I don't know if I did so well. Let me bring you a little bit.
Get some facts and go back and see.
You're going to get them right now. Let me bring you a little bit of that conversation.
Leigh, thanks for joining us again. I've been looking forward to this.
Well, there's no crystal ball, and they don't play the game on paper. They play it on a court, and as we sit there and we look at it, we try to project who should win or who's better than who. At the end of the day, the kids and the coaches, they're just not sure which of their, who's showing up.
Right.
Each team's a Jekyll and Hyde. Each team's got its good and bad days. So that's what makes it so fun.
Let me go to my first question. Should Duke have gotten a number 1? I frankly felt they should have. Second question, is Louisville really a number 1? Number 3, is Gonzaga really a number 1?
So it seems to me that Duke did enough out of conference to still manage away on the 1 line, but there's no way that neither Miami or Duke should be on the 1 line. Miami's the one who really got slighted. For Duke to put them on the 2 because they lost, you could see that, but Miami's the one who got slighted. Louisville, by winning the Big East, which was the 2nd rated conference, put itself in position with a great late season run. I want to say 8 in a row off the top of my head, where to put themselves as the number 1 team as far as the number 1 seed. The problem is that Midwest bracket, that served them very little good because they loaded the Midwest with 12 tough teams.
Yeah.
So 1 to 12 is, that's the toughest region. And so Louisville much rather have had a 2 seed in, for instance, in the West,
right,
than be the 1 seed in the Midwest. It
right.
makes no sense. And then last part, I believe you asked me was about
Gonzaga.
So Gonzaga deserved to be a 1 seed. You can't be the number 1 team in the country in AP and not be on the top line. There's no way you can justify that. But now, here's what I don't understand. If Gonzaga is your 3rd or 4th lowest 1 seed, if Louisville and Indiana, rightfully so, are the top 2 1 seeds, right? Mm-hmm. How do you not have Duke and Miami in with, one of those should be in with Gonzaga. Those are the 2 best 2 seeds on the board.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes no sense. Ohio State was on the 3-4 line a week ago. So now they become a 2 seed. It just makes no sense.
Who's the Cinderella this year? I've heard it could be St. Louis. I've heard it could be New Mexico. However, you didn't rate either one of those teams very high, I think, in the recent article I read from you on Brackets 101 over on 247sports.com. Where do you see the Cinderellas coming out of this?
there's somebody, it's either going to be Arizona or Notre Dame can make a real run at this thing if they can play like they're capable of playing. I think the West, there's one bracket that's going to blow up. Okay? Historically, that's what happens. One bracket that's going to blow up. Where's the bracket going to be? Usually you'll see there'll be two double digits playing each other to see who advances to the Sweet 16. And generally there's a 12 seed that, each year, since 2001, there's been a 12 seed win the first round game over a 5. Since 2001. So there's definitely going to be a 12 seed that's going to go far. I think that 12 could be California.
Okay.
Because of the guards, because of the guard play. But, remember this Cal team that lost to Utah its last game. So anything is, in Utah, is not a great team. So anything's possible. A lot of people like Oregon against Oklahoma State.
Right.
And you have Dana Altman there, and he's a tremendous coach. But now you got two freshman guards. Now Kentucky was able to win easily with freshmen, but you got two key components of freshman guards for Oregon, and that's certainly something that concerns me because I love tournament experience when it comes down to going and advancing. So I think Arizona's the sleeper team that has the talent. They have the talent. They've kind of underachieved since December. They've been underachieving. They haven't played great. But, they just had a little funny thing happen, the Pac-12 tournament in which there was a no call. There was a call that should have not been a call, and they lost a 2-point game, knocked down the Pac-12 tournament, and Sean Miller got fired up for it.
Right.
But I think Duke's got the easier path in Duke versus Louisville. I think Duke has more weapons to score the basketball. So I like Duke to make it to the Final Four. I think they are a little bit under the radar this year. Every year I root against Duke. I do think this year lines up for them.
Who do you have your other three? Are you willing to give us those?
Yeah. I like my national champion is Kansas. And I think the Jayhawks, one, they've got the experience. They've got senior guards, Travis Relaford, Elijah Johnson. They've got senior post presence in Jeff Withey, a rim protector and a difference maker. I think more likely you're going to have Miami taking out Indiana to advance out of the East. But I definitely look for that in the Elite Eight. And I think on the backside, when we went back to the West, I think it's, I went with Arizona. I think it could also be a Notre Dame that would advance, and eventually I get Duke taking them out to play Kansas, with Kansas beating Duke for the title.
Okay, so let me make sure I got this. Duke, Kansas. You're saying it'll be Indiana or Miami coming out of the East, and Arizona or Notre Dame coming out of the West.
Right. That's
okay.
And I'm picking on my bracket. I picked Arizona, but it's we're rolling the dice. Belmont's a dangerous first round team.
Yes, it is.
Shoots the three well. That's got a couple 5-star kids and seniors and so on. I just think that we get back to sort of this motivating factor, right? So Arizona's a team that last year. It's a team that's got something to prove. Mm-hmm. It's a team that's built for the tournament.
Already, and there you have it. Some terrific insight there on collegiate basketball from a very, very knowledgeable guy in Coach Klein. Did you listen to anything he had to say?
Absolutely.
You took some notes.
Any of us get through to you, son?
Okay. All right. Thanks,